We've heard from children that they now wish to die because in heaven, in paradise, their loved ones are there, there is food, there is water, and that's extraordinarily challenging to hear. I'm Rachael Cummings, I'm the Humanitarian Director for Save the Children in Gaza. Since February 2024, I've been working with our team. We're running clinics, nutrition points, child-friendly spaces, temporary learning spaces. It's a very fast-moving pace of work and quick decision-making, often hourly, to ensure the safety and security of our teams and also to ensure the services are provided to the children who are obviously most desperately in need. Every context we work in, Save the Children, is unique, but in Gaza we have compounding factors that make it extraordinarily challenging and heighten the vulnerability of children. So you have nearly 2 million people forcibly displaced into around 12% of the landmass. So you have this overcrowding with very, very few services. The rest of that area of Gaza being in a no-go zone or an active conflict zone. South of the Netzarim corridor into Deir al-Balah, Khan Yunis, Al-Mawasi, these areas are already extremely overcrowded. The services being provided in these areas, the water, the sanitation, are inadequate for the population that is there already. So to then forcibly displace 1 million people, we would see an increase in the number of children who are malnourished. We will see an increase in the number of children with pneumonia, with diarrhoea, with skin diseases, very, very severe illness. And of course we will see an increase in the number of children dying from preventable diseases, and it's completely unacceptable. During the first phase of the war, children were sharing with us that their wish was for them to go back to school, to go back to normal. And as time has gone on and the war has progressed and the atrocities have increased and compounded the experiences, and now children are wishing for bread or wishing for clean water and they can't focus, and they say that they struggle to focus, and we see that in our temporary learning spaces and our child-friendly spaces. We've heard from children that they now wish to die because in heaven, in paradise, their loved ones are there, there is food, there is water, and that's extraordinarily challenging to hear. So we've been running primary healthcare centres in Khan Yunis and in Deir al-Balah for over a year, and we'd already started to see the increase in the number and the proportion of children that we were screening who were malnourished. Every child in that clinic was malnourished. Every adult that was with those children was extremely thin. But what was really striking in that experience was the clinic was nearly silent. That is very unusual in a clinic. Clinics are often very noisy. Children are crying, children are running around. And that was because the children are too sick to cry. They're just exhausted. For children, they have witnessed the atrocities of the war. They have seen parents and family members killed. They've seen their family, homes destroyed. Some of the stories they shared, no child should ever have to witness. And we've all seen the pictures of children queuing desperately at the hot food kitchens. Now, that's not a role children should be playing. Children should be allowed to be children. Our Save the Children team in Gaza is extraordinary. They are completely dedicated, and we're all driven by the same purpose, and that is to alleviate suffering of children and their families. They do struggle with what they see, and of course this is their people and their community that they are supporting, and also their own children and their own families and themselves. Every single person in the team is living their worst nightmare. Before they leave their families in the morning to come to work, they have to say goodbye to their children, literally not knowing whether or not their children will be there when they come back or whether they will come back. For the last month I've been out of Gaza, and I'm actually quite worried about what I will see within the team. When I left, we were already seeing visibly my team wasting away in front of us, desperately thin, and they share very openly, their access to food and clean drinking water is very, very challenging. We really do all we can to support our team and our team's families, but with resources being so scarce in Gaza, it's very, very challenging. So one of the experiences that has really stuck with me or stayed with me for over a year now, we were ourselves forcibly displaced as Save the Children from Rafah to Deir al-Balah, and we were driving that day at the beginning of May, and the streets were absolutely packed. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people moving, carrying on a donkey cart, carrying stuff, whatever they could on their backs, and we were driving so slowly. We were running parallel with a small child walking, carrying 3 very large bottles of water. She was on her own, maybe 5 or 6 years old. She couldn't physically carry 3 bottles this large at the same time. So she devised a system of moving 2 bottles, maybe 5-10 metres, running back to get the 3rd bottle, plodding forward with that, meeting the other 2 bottles, and on it went, and on it went. And she was making very, very slow progress, but she was so determined. And in my mind, I was thinking, okay, there's a family at home waiting for her to return. She's been tasked with getting this water. She's got the water, and she's like, doing her best to get through this. And she was just so vulnerable, but so determined. And I don't know why, but that child has really stayed with me. And I've often thought about her and wondered, what happened to her. The war needs to end. The siege needs to end. We need humanitarian and commercial supplies to enter Gaza at scale. And as humanitarian actors, Save the Children, our partners, working with the UN, we need to be allowed to do our jobs, to do safe, dignified distributions, to provide the essential life-saving services for children. Without the supplies entering Gaza, without the markets being able to restart and function, famine will become much more widespread. And of course, we will see hundreds, if not thousands, of children dying from starvation and from the causes of famine and malnutrition. People ask me when I come home, what can I do? What can I do to help children in Gaza? And I always say, petition your members of parliament, petition the UK government to stop selling arms to Israel, but also to put whatever political pressure they can on Israel to stop the war and to allow the humanitarian supplies to enter and to stop bombing children, because that's what we are witnessing. We cannot say we did not know. We cannot say we had not seen, because this war is being live streamed in real time.